Thank you for joining me today. I'm Jen Carpenter. I have Dr. Barrett Matthews with me today. I am putting out these videos to record and just add value to entrepreneurs and business owners who might be starting to start off in their business or get more serious about their business and looking for the tools and resources to help them do so. I basically help business owners by having affordable access to on-demand access to attorneys in all areas of law to help people deal with everyday situations or the unexpected in life and business. I help entrepreneurs and small business owners and their employees be able to have access to legal and identity protection to deal with life events and save time, money, stress, and headaches. So I'd like Dr. Barrett to introduce himself, and we're going to talk a little bit about how he helps people and also some things that have been coming up in his industry today. He is a podcast and media guru and expert. So thank you for joining me, Barrett.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate being here. I'm so happy. Thank you.
You're welcome. So tell me a little bit about some of the people you've been helping lately, maybe a story about a recent client or some of the things that are coming up in the media world that are most helpful for people to know about.
Yeah, I thank you for that. I've been able to work with a lot of coaches now who are looking for more visibility and they're looking for ways that they can monetize their visibility as well. I mean, that's what we're in business for. So some of them have been talking to me about starting podcasts. And what I've been able to do is not only help them to start a podcast, is to talk to them about why it's important for them to be on multiple platforms, meaning that not just the audio side is important, but the video side is important too when it comes to podcasting. A lot of people don't know this, but YouTube has taken over the position of Spotify and iTunes as far as podcasts. So now it's important for you to have your podcast on a video platform as well. So what I've done with a particular client is I've taken them and put them into an audio podcast, which is important because a lot of the sponsors, if you're looking to get paid on them, they want to see how many audio downloads you have. Now, keep in mind, it takes some time to build up those audio downloads, so don't think it's going to happen overnight. But what we also do at the same time is we put them in a video podcast with YouTube. So now their podcast is audio and video, so there's two separate audiences they're capturing. But the one difference between the two is that when you get an audio download, that doesn't mean they automatically go to video. You'll probably get less in the video to begin with, but we have figured something out. One thing we figured out is that with video, when someone goes on your YouTube channel, when they subscribe, you get a notification that someone subscribed. And many of your viewers here, they probably have YouTube. You get a notification that someone subscribed to your channel. Well, with that being the case, now you can follow up with them. You can reach out to them. You can send them your links. You can get them involved. So now they can come to you to possibly do business. Whereas on the audio side, you don't know who downloads your podcast. You don't know who it is. You just hopefully they'll listen to your call to action on your podcast and respond to it. And that does happen. But you get, if you know who they are, you can reach out to them. You stand to catch more people that way. Now, the other thing about that with the video side is that you not only know who they are, you can actually turn that into revenue. Because a lot of people say, I want to make sales. Well, you can make sales now because you can turn that into revenue and you can do more with that side of it. And it just gives you more visibility on different scales. So that's the one thing I'm doing with people now. The other thing we figured out is that we figured out an algorithm with our partners to where we can actually get people more viewers and more subscribers on their YouTube channel about our clients. So what we're doing with like one particular person I work with, he has been able in a 3-month period, been able to get about 80,000 views on his YouTube channel. And he also about 4,500 subscribers on his YouTube channel.
Wow,
Which is,
3 months.
is kind of unheard of for most people, but we figured out a way to do that for our people who do podcasts with us. So that's one of the things that we're able to do.
Okay, so that kind of makes me think of a lot of other questions before we get to exactly how someone can, work with you in some capacity in the future. What are some good tips? So, for example, I have a YouTube channel. I'm just sharing a little bit of content a couple times a month. I'm not always posting regularly. So, like, what are some tips about how to kind of just start off using YouTube at least? my other question too is, so I know you can post the videos like in the community.
Mhm.
What's the difference of, like, posting it in the community on your channel versus, like, a YouTube, a Shorts might have, like, a 30-second video that leads them to the full video, something like that. Where do people need to go? Should they be just doing the Shorts, posting in the community? What is the best way to start utilizing their channel?
That's a great question. You should be doing both, actually. You should do the long
Okay.
form video. The long form videos is where you're going to get the most subscribers and viewers on,
Yes.
because they're going to actually want to see more of what you're offering.
Yes.
But the shorts grab their attention.
Okay.
And let's face it, in today's short attention span world, you got to grab people's attention. You got to grab it right away. So you want to have shorts, you want to have captions on the shorts, and you want to do it quickly, grab their attention to make them say, hey, I want to hear more of what Jen's talking about. So then I'll watch the long form video. So you can have your long form video, but you want to have it edited so that you can now put the shorts out there, say on TikTok, on YouTube, and as well as
Okay.
other platforms, so that people will say, hey, I want more. And you want to be able to have more for them in the long form videos.
Okay, and so for those videos, so even if someone did a Shorts and they had a long form video, how much do they really need to be engaging on YouTube? I know it's very different than the other platforms. So like what in general, I know we kind of got onto this whole YouTube topic, but
Yeah.
it's a massive, massive way to grow today. So what do we really need to be doing? At least a few tips on how to utilize it the best besides those videos, as far
Well,
as
you
engaging and all that.
Well, you hit on it, but it's not very different. Engaging is engaging. You need to engage
Okay.
with people on whatever platform, especially if they have responded saying, "Hey, I like your podcast."
Yes.
They just put that in there. Reach out to them, talk to them. They say, "Good episode." Reach out, even if they say, "I didn't like that. I didn't agree with you." Start a conversation with them, because if you start that conversation, you never know where it can lead to. You may bring them over to your side, or you may go over to their side of thinking. It still opens up a dialogue, because when you can do that, then you have a better chance of gaining a client, as opposed to just ignoring them. No one wants to know they made a comment and you didn't pay attention to it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But as far as the algorithm and whatnot, so, if someone's starting off and trying to grow, obviously you have some great results with somebody you've worked with to grow that quickly.
Mhm.
Is it that we need to do a couple times a month? What are just a couple other tips of really how to make
Well,
us start to grow a
well,
little
what
bit?
we did with what we did with that client is not something that most people can do on their own anyway.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, we figured out some proprietary stuff
Aha,
that
got it.
that we
I see.
that most people aren't able to do on their own anyway.
Got
And
it. Okay.
so that's what we worked with that
Makes sense.
yeah, on doing that. But it's not something most people can do on their own anyway. But
Okay.
to your point though,
Yes.
you, the biggest thing you can do is be consistent.
Yeah.
When I say be consistent, if you got people that are looking at your content, that means they're also going to be looking for your content. So
Yes.
if you don't have content up there, if you're doing it like once a month or something like that, they're not going to be looking for it. They're going to go for somewhere else.
Right.
Most
Right.
people that look for content are looking for it usually like daily.
Okay.
And if you put together, say, a long form video, edit it so that you can put shorts every day. Just put one up every day of
Okay.
that long form. You could have one long form video a week, but
Okay.
have clips up every day from that particular video that grab their attention.
Okay.
And if you can do that, then it's consistency. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, just repurpose that content.
Totally, totally. So one other question about how people can do things on their own. What are some other ways to work with doing exactly what you just said, that, before somebody works with you, another tip for how they can edit their videos into those clips, or some options of a resource for that type of editing and whatnot that they could do a little bit on their own before they might even work with you.
Well, see, here's the way I look at it like this. I am not a big proponent of doing that on your own if you're a business person. Now,
Okay.
let me get this. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
me. There are apps out there there's several apps that you can use. You can look Google there, you'll find several apps out there right now that'll help you edit it. But I am a strong proponent of finding a VA or someone who likes editing
Yeah.
and get and trust me, you don't have to pay a lot for them.
Okay. So a
But I,
VA could help with that type of stuff.
yeah,
They can do
there's a,
so many things, but
like
okay.
there's a site for people who work in the Philippines. It's called onlinejobs.ph. You can find people that will do editing work for maybe 100 a month. You
Wow.
know, yeah,
Okay. I
they'll
mean,
do
that's a
all.
valuable tip. Totally. Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
good.
and you can have them to do your editing for you on your podcast because the U.S. dollar goes a long way over there.
Okay.
So, and
Awesome.
they're not doing a lot of work. You could produce, like I said, you produce content, one video a week, and just have them make it into like 4 or 5 different shorts.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
And you
That's,
can even give them access to your YouTube channel where they can upload it for you.
there you
So
go. Okay. So use a VA one way or another for many different avenues that might be
I
helpful.
believe that in order to get it done, you don't have to be the one.
I agree. I agree. So, being that said, tell us a little bit more about how someone could possibly get started working with you in a reasonable way, or even, some people that might need even more of your services. What's the simplest way and the need that people have that someone really starts working with you with? Everyone says start a podcast. So, you don't need all the expensive equipment, to my understanding, this, that, and whatever. So, what's one of the easiest ways for someone to move forward with a podcast or working with media?
Well, the podcasting is the best and easiest way because, for instance, you love talking about legal things that people run into. You can talk about that all day long. I've known you for a while now. You can talk about that all day long. If you hit record, you got yourself a podcast. And
Yes.
the point I bring up with people is that podcasting is the simplest form for you. So if I told you to write a book about it, it may take you a year to write the book.
Mhm.
If I ask you to talk about it, you can talk about it.
Yeah.
If you hit record, you have yourself a podcast. It may not be the way you want it to start off with, but at least get started talking about something you love. So, podcast is the simplest way to do it. Just hit record. You can do your podcast like we're on Zoom here. You can do
Yes.
it on Zoom
Yes.
and then have that VA edited if you like. The thing
Yes.
is, so many people, Jen, they get in their own head
Uh-huh.
about what they have to do to start. I need to have all this
Uh-huh.
equipment. It's a lie. You're lying to yourself. You don't need it all. Just start it. Just get it started. You can always upgrade later as you go, but you're hurting yourself by lying to yourself and telling yourself you need all these things. You don't. All you need is to start and just do that, and it'll happen for you. Trust me, it doesn't take as much as you think it does.
I agree, and I appreciate that you went that route because that was me exactly. So I completely understand. Step aside the fear and just set the fear aside and just take the action. So, video is something I stayed away from for a very long time and still haven't done a lot with those shorts and shorter clips, but
This
this
could
is
be
where
your
I've
first
started.
podcast episode right here.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is where I've started. So yeah, it's definitely yeah, no, I appreciate that. If someone does want to do more, just tell us a little bit about how they can work with you a little bit more if they have greater needs once they start working on their own and
Sure,
start the
sure.
process.
Sure. I mean, my podcast, Media Boss Pro, is where I do a lot of work, but Media Boss Podcast, rather. My company, Media Boss Pro, is where I work with people to actually put their media out there. So, one of the ways, I know Jen and we do a lot of work on LinkedIn. Just connect with me on LinkedIn. Okay. Barrett Matthews on LinkedIn, and just schedule. I have a link there where you can schedule a call with me, and we can talk about what your needs are, what you want to do, get over some of those fears, get over some of that anxiety that's stopping you from getting your message out there. Because here's the thing: if you feel, I have a question for you. If you feel that there's an audience out there that needs to hear what you're saying, needs
Yes.
to connect with you, if you really feel that, then the question I have for you is, how long are you going to make them wait?
I like it. I like it. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think that that's a ton of value there and good stories. So thank you for sharing all of that. Barrett and I, have been connected for a while. So, someday soon I'll probably show up on his podcast, hopefully.
Yes.
Um,
Well, someday soon, hopefully, she'll show up on her own.
Yes, yes, no, that too, and so, yeah, I appreciate all the tips for myself and everyone, to just take the action and move forward. So, do you have any other events coming up or anything else you wanna share today?
Well, I'm doing a Create Your Podcast weekend, right? Actually coming up tomorrow, but
Oh,
next
okay.
next month, I'm going to be doing another Make Money from Media challenge.
Okay.
And I'm also going to be doing something for coaches to show them how to get more media in their business as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share all of this great information today. I hope this has been super valuable to those checking it out. Connect with Barrett Matthews on LinkedIn. I'm Jen Carpenter. Also, if you could check out Jen Carpenter Secure and Savvy, that is my YouTube channel. Do you have yours also that you want to share?
They
Do
can
you?
check out the Media Boss Podcast.
Okay, Media Boss Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
As in the website or on YouTube? I'm sorry.
YouTube.
Okay, Media Boss
And
Podcast
actually,
on YouTube.
MediaBossPodcast.com is the website for my podcast too.
Okay, sounds good. Excellent. All right. So, everyone have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you.